Hello, I'm Dave Eastman, Senior VP of In-Command Services. In this session, I'll explain the value and use of the Switch Outage Impact Report. One of the many reasons to track ports and cables is the ability to quickly publish a Switch Outage Impact Report. This report answers the question, what devices are impacted if a given switch or switch module goes down? Whether a switch outage is planned or an incident, the ability to quickly determine the downstream devices impacted will save many hours of troubleshooting and lost productivity. Excuse me. Let me demonstrate how to access and use this report. On the In-Command portal, first thing we do always is select the site from the site selection fields. And now go to the Switch Outage Impact Report, which is located under Data Center Views, Outage Impacts, Switch Outage Impact. This report gives me all of the devices at the selected site that are connected to switches, and it tells me what switches they're connected to. The important column here is the ending device name. Here's all my devices. I can see there's 20 devices in this demo site that have switch connections. And I can see what switch the device is connected to here in column 1 and what port on that switch that is connected in column 2. For a description of all the columns on this report, you can always check the question mark, and it gives a brief description of what's displayed in each column on the report. I shall briefly highlight a few of the columns. One, the host name, the ending device name, host name. I know it's a PowerEdge 620, and I know it's located in demo cage 1, room rack AL1 RU7. Host name 3, in RU3, host name 2, RU2, etc. So I've got my list of devices and I've got my list of switches. So first use of this report is to determine at my site how many devices have only a single switch connection. To find that out, I'd go to my switches connected and filter for one. And I see that there are 6 devices here, my demo site, that are only connected to a single switch, meaning if that switch goes down for any reason, these devices will lose switch connection. Knowing this, I may choose to do some remediation and connect a redundant switch, or choose to leave it and understand my risk. That's the first use of this report. Second use of this report is to filter for a switch. Let's say that my 3650 switch in rack AL1 is going to go down for any number of reasons. So I can filter for my 3650 switch, and I can see that in this case, there are 9 devices that are potentially impacted when this switch goes down. From my previous discussion, I can see that there's 2 devices that will go down hard. Hostname 7, hostname 8 have only one switch connection. That's to the 3650. When it goes down, these devices will lose connectivity. All the other devices here have a dual switch that it's connected to. That begs the question, well, what other switch is hostname 3 connected to? To find that out, I click on the host name for more device details, and I see at the bottom of this report that this device has an Ether1 interface and a Gig1 interface. The Ether1 interface is connected to the 3650, and the Gig1 is connected to an Arista Tor port 2. So these are my 2 switches for this device. What about hostname 4? I click on hostname 4. I go down to the bottom. I see that Ether 2 is connected to the 3650 and the Ether 1 interface is connected to an AL1 patch panel. Well, what switch is on the other end of that patch panel? I can click on the chain and I see that I've got hostname 4 connected to this patch panel, to that patch panel, and on the other end is the Arista Tor switch. So I now know that this device is connected to the 3650 and through these patch panels to the Arista Tor. And I can go down each device here and see exactly which switches it's connected to and what the impact of this 3650 going down is going to be. Now, once I have that impact, I can say, maybe I determine that just these two devices are going to go down hard, are going to be impacted. So I can filter for these devices, go to my hamburger stack, export the filtered data to a CSV file, and send it to my device administrators, my server administrators, etc., and forewarn them of what the impact of taking that 3650 out of service is going to be. Now, before I conclude, let me highlight the switch modules connected column. I have a switch chassis. I call it Core 1. And Core 1 in my demo site has two modules, Module 1 and Module 2. What I notice here is that the NetApp 5 device has only one switch connection, and that's to Core 1. But it is connected to two separate modules, which is why I have a 2 in the switch modules. Looking more closely, I see that the NetApp is connected to Mod 1 port 1, and its other connection is to Mod 2 port 1. This tells me that if a module has to be taken out of service, Mod 1 or Mod 2, the NetApp is going to stay alive and be serviced by its redundant module. Whereas if the core switch comes down in this case, I'm going to lose both modules and therefore NetApp 5 will go down hard. All right, I get rid of all my filters. I see the unfiltered report by review. Here are all the host names that are connected to switches. Here are all the switches at the site that have hostname connections, the number of connections, and my ability to filter any of these columns to determine what the impact of a switch outage might be. And after I've got it filtered, I can go to my hamburger stack, export the filtered data to a CSV file, and forward that file to my system administrators for their use in troubleshooting and resolving a problem. Okay, that concludes this session. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for using In Command and enjoy your day.